So in today's video, we are going to be covering the best team of the season live investments to be making this week. So just before the video does start, a quick little ad on a trading service I offer over on Twitch for the cheapest trading guides out there for just £4, €4, all free with Amazon Prime. You'll receive daily trading and investing guides covering PlayStation, Xbox and PC with an array of methods covering all budgets. And I've been trading for over 10 years, making over 100 million in multiple different FIFAs, and now for the last 4 years I've made 10 million coins in just the first month. So in today's video, what we're going to do is we are going to talk about all the different Team of the Season live investments we're going to make. We're going to talk about how sort of cards did last year when they went out of packs for most consistent, and again what we expect this year. So first off, let's move straight into how did Team of the Season cards do out of packs last year. Well, again, we didn't get most consistent Team of the Season last year. We didn't get a live Team of the Season last year. We got most consistent. So that is what we're going to go and compare it to. There were varied trends, but there was some overall trends. And the trends were, if they were a Premier League Team of the Season, then they rose nicely out of packs. If they weren't a Premier League Team of the Season, they kept dropping and dropping and dropping and dropping until the weekend before the league's Team of the Season came out, in which they rebounded. So a nice example of this is Kim Min-jae. So Kim Min-jae dropped and dropped and dropped and dropped, and eventually the Serie A Team of the Season came out, I'd want to say like here, and then he managed to rebound because people were building Serie A teams. So the reason this whole trend occurs is because people aren't building teams of that league until they get their Team of the Season, because in the Premier League there's going to be so many SBCs, objectives. Normally again we'll probably get some Premier League sort of Team of the Season Evo, so I'd imagine that will create people building Premier League teams, and then of course loads of upgrade packs are also opened, resulting in people building Premier League teams. So what we're going to be looking at investing in today is basically going to be only Premier League Team of the Seasons. That and WSL Team of the Seasons, which is quite interesting. Because we are this Friday getting the Premier League Team of the Season and the WSL Team of the Season, and then obviously after that we get the respective leagues right there. So let's go walk through the best investments we are going to go for. So here's a little example of the Prem Team of the Season doing really nicely out of packs. You can see Bernardo Silva with 1 million coins, and he did get all the way up to 1.7 million in 2 weeks. We can see Robertson went down to 300k, got up to 375k in a week. We can see that Ake got down there to 200k, rose all the way up to 275k in a week. But there were a few Prem Team of the Season players who didn't do well, and I'll tell you why. We got De Gea, who went down when Prem Team of the Season came out because we had an Alisson SBC day one, so that meant that investment wouldn't have worked. And second to that, we then had Declan Rice, who didn't do very well because the Premier League Team of the Season had loads of cheap centre mids, such as like Odegaard, Bruno Guimaraes. I think they had like 4 or 5 midfielder sort of midfielder Team of the Seasons, and as a result, Declan Rice didn't do very well. So for the investment to do well from the live Team of the Season, we basically need there to be a lack of SBCs, Evos, or just cheap Team of the Seasons in that position. So first off, we're going to talk about the WSL players because I actually think they're a really good investment. Because in FIFA, there's generally only about, I think it's about 40 WSL special cards. Meaning if there is a lack of good ones in the WSL Team of the Season, or if there is a lack of links to any SBCs, objectives, or just even well-demanded Team of the Season cards, I think that we can see the WSL Team of the Seasons that are in the live do very, very nicely. And that is Lilia, Alessandrini, and Turland. And again, I think these are going to be decent investments. Now, the question is, when are we going to go and buy them? We're going to go and buy them between 10 AM on the Thursday through to all the way around about midnight on the Thursday. The reason for that is because of Division Rival Rewards, it's just the cheapest time to go and buy these players. So, yeah, we're going to look at buying Turland, and we're going to look at buying Lilia Alessandrini. Now, there's a few reasons these players should rise. Again, people should be building WSL teams. And again, people should just be using them as a link investment. Even if people aren't building WSL teams, they'll still maybe have the odd SBC or player that's well demanded in which they want to get linked. Now we're going to go and hold on to these cards all the way for 1 week, so which means we're going to go and buy them this Thursday and sell them next Friday. Because next Friday should be the peak of people building these teams. Although you need to stay relatively aware of what SBCs and Evos are coming, because if there was let's say for some reason a Man City women's centre-back SBC, then that would potentially go and crash the likes of Alessandrini. So do just be aware of that. But yeah, to start it off, we've got ourselves our 2 WSL players, which are Lilia and Turland, both of which will probably end up being like SBC fodder, which means there'll actually be a nice double investment with both being SBC fodder and that. Now, last year, a lot of the top-end community Prem Team scenes did really, really well. I just see it being a little bit more risky, I'll be completely honest with you, so do take it with a pinch of salt. But we are going to go through the cheap ones, which again, I prefer a little bit more. we've got ourselves the likes of Robertson and Solovsai. Again, not really too much to say about them. I mean, there isn't much upgrade hype around the likes of Robinson. He plays for Fulham. It's not too, not too much hype. There also aren't really any left backs overly predicted in the Prem team this season. I do expect one. I'd be very surprised if we don't. But yeah, there aren't really any left backs. But I do think Dom Solovskai is a slightly better, well, a significantly better investment. The reason I think he's a significantly better investment is because there's a lot more hype around his live card getting upgraded. But more so is that this Evo that he's used in is actually out for 27 days. And obviously Solovskai is only in packs for 3 more days. Meaning this guy is going to be using Evos down the line despite not being in packs. And you can see right there again, it's not a crazy Evo, but I mean, once he receives sort of other upgrades, I can see there being a lot of hype around him. Meaning I think Dom Solovskai is going to be a really, really nice investment. The only worry is a little bit like what happened with Rice last year is, there could be an abundance of cheap centre mids or cams, which would end up decreasing the demand. But because it's a live card and because he can be used in an Evo whilst out of packs, I think he can do really, really nicely. So that then moves us on to the expensive players from the Premier League. I mean, there's no expensive players from the WSL. And that moves to, I guess we'll start with the slightly cheaper stuff of Kudos and Romero. Again, probably not as much upgrade hype on Kudos. And also what I'd say is, well, sorry, this is positive, but what I'd say is quite nice about Kudos is the wingers in the Prem traditionally are really, really expensive. So if I go and load up Son from last year, who didn't even get a Team of the Season card, he got a Team of the Year honourable mention. They're normally very expensive, and as a result of them being very expensive, a 400k winger in the Prem could do pretty well. I mean, if we go and load up the likes of Salah, I think Son came out of packs a million day one. We can get Saka up there, we can get Martinelli, and I mean, day one we're looking at 3.2 million coins on Salah, we're looking at 800k on the Saka. Martinelli not too bad at 500k, but because the Prem team of season attackers, will probably come out of packs being very, very expensive, it means the 300, probably 350k and end up paying for Kudos should do quite well because there's a significant price difference, meaning people think they'll be able to afford these top end ones, they can't, which means they'll go back to Kudos and buy him. Romero potentially has the same thing. Last year we only had expensive centre backs. We had Saliba, Diaz, and Van Dijk, none of which were cheap. The only problem is Romero also isn't really cheap. So yeah, I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't be so favourable on Romero, but of course, like any Prem team of season player does have the chance to do well. We then end off with the absolutely very expensive players of Doku and Bruno Fernandes. And again, I would just worry that in the Prem team of season, there'll be so many like 2 to 3 million coin players, or potentially even more expensive, that people would potentially not really want these cards and they want to try the new players. Especially bear in mind Doku and Fernandes are the 2 most expensive players, which as a result means people just go and sell them because they want to try the most expensive players per team of the season. So again, I'd more favour the Robinson or especially so the Solovsai along with the WSL investments as a buy. So that's like there are multiple sell points on these. You've got Friday in the pre-hype if you want to play it very safe, especially if you want to go and buy fodder over the weekend. You also have Monday or whenever we get the team of season Prem Cup. I can see the players going up for that. Or if we do look at Andrew Robertson and so on, they did actually rise for the whole week of Prem Team of Season and then peaked on the last day of Prem Team of Season and actually crashed after. And that's because people just went from building Prem teams to Bundesliga teams, which means as a result those players exited their teams and went down in price because they just decreased in demand. And that's about it. Now there is a nice investment actually, which is next week after that we're going to go and get Bundesliga. And because we're going to get Bundesliga, it means that this week we should see the Bundesliga Team of Season live cards getting panic sold all the way through to Sunday. And then after Sunday's Icon SBC, we should see them rebound. So I would recommend Sunday after 6 PM, again, it's a further down the line investment, to go look at buying Bier, Alba, do you have anything else nice? Hincarpe, especially because all these cards are cheap. And then what you'd go and do is, again, you can sell them in the pre-hype, or you just hold on to them as long as they don't get replaced by an SBC, Evo, or Objective. That is gonna, I'd say, wrap it up. Again, that was the trends last year. We're looking to buy these cards again Thursday, 10 AM, all the way through to probably about midnight, and then hold on to them for a week, or only 24 hours if you want to play it safe. But that's going to wrap that up. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys tomorrow with a brand new video.